If Elon Musk's Neuralink wants to implant a chip in the human brain, you can never say never with a clock on your arm.
Whenever you do anything, you trade seconds of life and you get money in return. So you are always trading your time for money.
If you've ever seen the movie In Time, you might understand how a Japanese housewife revolutionized time almost 40 years before the movie was ever made. In this movie, time is literally a currency that rules the world. Once people get to the age of 25, a clock on their forearm starts counting down. So people work to earn more time so they don't run out. The only currency in this movie world is your time. It's what you use to buy stuff, from your groceries to payment for services. And the more valuable society thinks you are, the more money, in this case, time, you can earn. There is no better dramatic expression of the saying, time is money. What if I told you a poor Japanese housewife pioneered this idea in real life decades ago after a near-death experience, which may trigger feminists? Of course, no creepy countdown clocks on the arm. This story also highlights the power of the media in shaping and drowning the truth, and the power of publicity in ensuring the truth stays relevant. To understand how she revolutionized time, let's do a quick assessment of how we use our time as money presently. We basically live the same way, although not as obvious as depicted in this movie. We have always traded time for money. It's why we wake up from 8 in the morning and resume at a desk to 5 in the evening. And our employer gives us money for the time we've used to add value to the company. Then we have money to buy someone else's time. That's what we do when we use money to pay for the time used by someone else to make that luxury car or farm the food we eat, transport it to our nearest farmer's market and to our table. You get the drift. At least that's the cycle of trading time for money for billions of people on earth. So what if we totally remove money from this time trading cycle and we just get time as return for time spent on a task? Meaning you will be able to save time received in exchange for time expended in doing something for someone else. Bank the time for withdrawal later and maybe even give family and friends time as a gift. You will agree that's a different level of financial economics. And yes, it has its limitations, especially in universal regulation and standardization. We will get to this later. What if I told you Switzerland implemented this system where you get time in exchange for services rendered, save it, and spend it later? You may think it's novel, right? Well, so I thought too. I curiously went searching and found out that, indeed, there's nothing new under the sun. People have always found creative ways of exchanging time for what they need, but the formalization of it is a different story. At first, I found out Edgar Cahn was the founder of this time banking concept.
In a multifaceted career,
Edgar Cahn.
Professor Edgar Cahn.
Edgar Cahn.
Well, Edgar Cahn, he's the founder of time banks.
Professor Edgar Cahn of the DC School of Law created the time dollar concept.
He was a law professor and speechwriter for former US Attorney General and presidential candidate Robert Kennedy. He started the Time Dollars Initiative in 1995 and is largely credited as the founder of this concept. Well, thanks to Western media. I suppose the way to solidify your place as a pioneer of an idea is by publicizing the loudest, although Western media may try to attribute this concept to him.
Edgar Cahn, who's the founder of time banking in America. Edgar, in the 1980s, you were lying in the hospital after heart surgery and thinking about your future, and you came up with the idea of time banking.
Doc, I feel grateful that I've been given a chance, and maybe I can earn one more day extension if I can make a difference in somebody's life.
The true pioneer is a Japanese housewife who had executed time banking in Japan decades before Edgar Cahn in the US. Keep watching as we explore how she came to the realization of using time in place of money and its application in modern society beyond just Switzerland. Give us some time to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and check out our other engaging and thought-provoking videos after you watch this to the end. Alright, let's get into it. Time banking concept can be traced way back further than 1995, when Edgar Cahn formalized time banking in the US. The true pioneer, as I found, was Teruko Mizushima. Mizushima's journey began in her early married life, where societal expectations overwhelmed her. Just 3 months into her marriage, she collapsed from sheer exhaustion after a grueling day of household chores imposed by her husband's family. During her recovery, She reflected deeply on how she has been spending her time and how people generally spend their time. She became obsessed with time saving and management, finding ways for people to better use their time. To her, time wasn't just a passing entity, it was a precious resource everyone possessed, regardless of social status or monetary wealth. Mizushima believed that when used wisely, time could offer more value than money in enabling people to live fulfilling lives. With hospital landing chores to dealing with happenings around the world, ensured her trials didn't stop there. As Japan aligned with Axis powers in 1940, her husband was drafted into the war and never returned. Mizushima, a 25-year-old widow with 2 children, endured the horrors of the war alone. By 1945, air raids had destroyed both her family homes, leaving her to care for her in-laws amidst the rubble of post-war Japan. That's when the quest for survival pulled ingenuity out of her. She started trading her sewing skills for fresh vegetables. She protected her family from the malnutrition ravaging the country. During these struggles, she began to ask profound questions. How could people ensure their loved ones were cared for in times of crisis? In post-war Japan, shortages of basic necessities led Mizushima to embrace the strength of collective action. She joined a women's group that pooled resources to buy essentials in bulk. Inspired by their success, she dreamed of a system where people could cash in on their past contributions during times of need. Money, as she saw it, was unreliable. Its value could be wiped out by inflation or economic collapse. Time, on the other hand, was constant and immune to devaluation, and if I may add, tax-free. Its transactions, rooted in acts of giving and receiving, fostered community ties and offered a unique kind of security that money couldn't match. By 1973, Mizushima turned her vision into reality, founding the world's first time bank in Tokyo. Mizushima's bank works like a conventional bank. It keeps records of deposits and withdrawals in the form of points for time given and time received. The bank members could save up time by giving their time to others and then draw from their savings when needed. A time bank allowed members to earn credits by helping others, whether through sewing, caregiving, or tutoring. These credits could later be redeemed for services they needed, even years down the line. Mizushima believed this system could help communities build resilience against life's uncertainties and encourage individuals to care for one another, creating a social safety net that transcended self-interest. It was later down the years across the Pacific, Edgar Cahn developed similar ideas, albeit independently. In 1980, after suffering a massive heart attack, Cahn envisioned time banking as a revolutionary solution to the deep cuts in social welfare. Indeed, a close shave with death can make one evaluate life, considering both Cahn and Mizushima's journey into time banking was sparked by similar circumstances. Cahn's concept was simple. Everyone's time should hold equal value. An hour spent cleaning could earn the same credit as an hour spent offering legal advice or tutoring. This egalitarian approach, Cahn argued, could help combat inequality and empower communities. By 1995, a year before Mizushima's death, Cahn founded Time Banks USA, and his work evolved into a global movement. Today, time banking has spread to over 30 countries, with thousands of members contributing millions of hours of service worldwide. From Mizushima's war-torn Japan to Cahn's post-recovery epiphany, the evolution of time banking stands as a testament to human resilience and ingenuity, a timeless solution for building stronger, more compassionate communities. Enough of the historical background of this concept. So, how does this work today in Switzerland and other parts of the world? Building from Mizushima's concept to Edgar Cahn's idea of time banking, focused on general community volunteering, Switzerland took it in a slightly different direction. They made it all about helping their senior citizens. Here is how it works.
The Swiss bank has actually started a time bank where you can deposit time to be able to withdraw it later. Well, how does it work?
People volunteer to help the elderly with everyday tasks like cooking, running errands, gardening, house cleaning, or even things like tutoring or ITL, taking them shopping or to doctor's appointments. hairdressing, or any other time-consuming activity. For example, let's say Kelvin, a 40-year-old in Zurich, helps his elderly neighbor, James, with grocery shopping every week. He earns one-time credit for each hour he spends helping. This time credit is saved, and he even has a time bank card attached to this account. When Kelvin turns 80 and needs help to go to his doctor's appointment, those credits can be used to get support he needs. It's an amazing self-sustaining cycle of care. Now, Switzerland isn't the only country doing this. In fact, over 30 countries, including China, Russia, Japan, the UK, and the US, already have organized time banks. Over in Beijing, they've taken time banking up a notch. You can unlock a spot for government-funded medical care or access to state-run care home when you become a senior citizen. All you need to do is rack up 10,000 coins in your time bank. Volunteers earn 1 coin for each hour they spend helping the elderly. Here is another twist. You can't redeem those coins until you are 60, after which you can use or donate them to relatives and friends. While countries like Switzerland and cities like Beijing run old age time bank programs, in California, the city of Sebastopol has its own version of time banking and is more focused on filling gaps in community services. Over 250 residents have time bank accounts where they save and withdraw hours to use among each other as needed. Should every country have a time bank? Ideally, yes, but only at a community level, because besides community building and for social welfare purposes, its adoption has limitations. Of course, time banking isn't perfect. A big challenge is that most programs are regional, so they don't always connect with other areas. Plus, figuring out the value of different services can get tricky, like how many hours is teaching someone to code worth compared to giving them a ride to the airport, especially when you consider the time invested in acquiring this skill. And what about the security risk of a volunteer exploiting or abusing a senior under the guise of helping? Basically, trust issues, and of course, government needs the current monetary system, or how will time be taxed? Another shortcoming may include accountability, but on the innovative side, nothing a better user-friendly app can solve. But who knows, in the next few decades, we might see even more countries jumping on board, and maybe you might get that creepy countdown clock on the arm. If Elon Musk's Neuralink wants to implant a chip in the human brain, you can never say never with a clock on your arm. But the most important question is, could time banking work in your country? Please drop your answer in the comment section and let's know why it will work or it won't. I know it won't work in Nigeria for sure. If you know, you know. Before you go, please give this video a thumbs up for the almighty algorithm. It helps the channel grow as videos are suggested to more people, and if you learned something new or basically just found this entertaining, please subscribe for more videos like this. See you on the next one. Cheers guys.